Good afternoon and welcome to the August 20th, 2025 Post Falls Urban Renewal Agency Commission meeting. Let's see here, we are going to have Commissioner roll call. Director Jones.
Thank you, Chairman Davis. Coles?
Here.
Cheltenus?
Here.
Flashman?
Here.
Crosby?
Here.
Davis?
Here.
Commissioners Leffel and Clemison have let me know they will not be here today.
Excellent, thank you so much. Commissioner Coles is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Next up, we have ceremonies, appointments, and announcements. Nothing?
I have no items for that.
All right, any announcements from the commission? Hearing none. Conflicts disclosure. Any conflicts on the commission?
Nope.
All righty. Next up, we have the consent calendar.
Thank you, Chairman Davis. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Item A in the consent calendar is the commission meeting minutes of July 17th, 2025. Item B is the District Review Committee meeting minutes of July 22nd, 2025. Item C is the payables for this month totaling $7,221.10. Item D is the bank activity report, which shows total funds in all accounts of $4,681,699.86 and accrued interest for the month of $9,846.36. Item E is the financial reports as of July 31st, 2025. Item F is the fiscal year 2025 audit engagement letter from Alpine Summit CPAs to perform the fiscal year 2025 audit for an amount not to exceed $15,000. Approval of the consent calendar will authorize a transfer of need to get this number back. $7,221.10 to the First Interstate checking account for the monthly payables and $9,846.36 accrued interest to the general fund. Chairman, I would answer any questions.
All right, excellent. Does anyone have any questions on the consent calendar? If not, we'd be looking for a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote.
Flashman?
Aye.
Cheltenus?
Aye.
Crosby?
Aye.
Davis?
Aye.
Coles?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have committee updates, finance and policy. Treasurer Crosby.
Yes, we had a very busy period. We reviewed the audit engagement letter. We finalized the budget presentation. We reviewed the July financial reports, and our committee also reviewed the calculations from the county treasurer regarding tax increment funds that were withheld for the last 3 years.
Well, thank you. Any other comments on that? Next up, we have district review. Commissioner Fleischman.
Yep, we met on July 22nd. We got some updates from our technology district, our downtown district. We did discuss, we will do an annual reporting on all of our districts, which just kind of talked about the process and what we will share with everybody and how we'll share that information. And then we also just kind of went over the paperwork of creating a new district, making sure we had the right supporting documents, and found that we had everything that we needed already in place.
Great. Thank
Question for the chairman. Have we gotten a response from the Mets group with regard to the 2 post-closing districts that we wanted to have an analysis of?
We have engaged with representative of the Mets group about that project, but I do not have a response for them in terms of a cost estimate. But they have given us a document describing the scope of the work, and I will present that to the commission I expect to this coming month.
Thank you.
Oh, great. Next up, we have Communications, Property, and Personnel. Commissioner Clemenson is not here, but does anybody from the commission have a report?
Just me, nothing to report.
Thanks, Colin. All right, next up, we have citizen comments. This section of the agenda is reserved for citizens wishing to address the commission regarding an agency-related issue. Comments related to future public hearings should be held for that public hearing. Persons wishing to speak will have 5 minutes. All right, next up, we have public hearing, fiscal year 2026 agency annual budget.
Is this mic on?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good morning. I'm the treasurer of the commission. Here are the key aspects of the commission's fiscal year 2026 budget for the period commencing October 1st, 2025 and ending September 30th, 2026. Under the section entitled Revenues, tax increment income is projected for each of our urban renewal districts that are in operation right now and is based on the value of properties located within the districts as determined by the Kootenai County Assessor's Office, and the levy rate for the year as determined by budgets set for each of the taxing commissions. The tax rate for each of the taxing districts is not currently known and will not be finalized until later this year as those entities complete their budget hearings. Therefore, the increment we have projected in this budget is based on an analysis of last year's preliminary property values relative to last year's values and the levy rate. We are projecting that 2025 levy rates will decrease as the city of Post Falls property values increase and the value of new development within the city increases the tax base by approximately 8 to 10%. This increase in value is, however, being partially offset within the confines of the budgets to be set by the taxing entities by increased costs due to both inflation and an increased demand for services from our growing population. The Urban Renewal Commission has completed and closed a total of 7 urban renewal districts and returned all of the increased tax revenues from new and future development within those districts to the underlying tax entities and the public. The majority of those districts were closed early with an excess tax increment rebated to all the taxing entities. Throughout the agency's existence, over $7 million of surplus funds have been rebated to the underlying districts. Total closing year valuation increases due to new development within those closed districts has exceeded $1.1 billion, greatly expanding values and providing increased annual tax revenue to offset the impact of increased demand for services on residential homeowners. Based on new and continuing development in 2 of our 3 active urban renewal districts, the Commission is conservatively projecting a modest increase in tax increment to be received primarily due to new construction supported by expanded public improvements. Overall, the projected tax increment for the technology, downtown, and urban renewal and Pleasant View urban renewal districts is anticipated to increase by approximately 16.5% or $340,000 from the increment received in fiscal year 2025 as a result of that continued new development. Over the course of fiscal year 2026, we are anticipating the need to take accrued general fund monies of $90,574 to meet our projected operating expenses. Interest income has been conservatively projected at $40,750, which is based on our projection that interest rates will decrease in the latter part of this year. And over the course of fiscal year 2026, together with decreased capital improvement fund balance as a result of reimbursement in existing districts for public improvements and infrastructure. Carryover revenue is tax increment collected in prior periods within a district, which is used to pay for public improvements currently underway or planned for the future. Those funds will only be paid out when the public improvements have been fully completed, paid for by the developer proponent, dedicated to and accepted by the city, and all costs reviewed and documented by the Commission's independent engineers. The agency is projecting carryover revenues in 2026 in both the technology and downtown districts, which reflect revenues that will be used to pay for key transportation and other public improvements currently underway or planned for those districts. The carryover revenue in the downtown districts also includes funds set aside by the Commission's new minor projects program implemented in fiscal year 2025, which provides funds to reimburse existing businesses and community organizations for improvements that they make to property they own and occupy, which is located within an existing urban renewal district. We are not projecting any borrowings in fiscal year 2026. It is also important to note that the Urban Renewal Commission receives no funding from the City of Post Falls. Total revenues, including carryover funds projected in fiscal year 2026, are $5.59 million, actually $5,599,348. It is important to note that the Commission's projected revenues are generated from tax increment created by new development in each of our urban renewal districts. The term tax increment is the increase in property tax collected within a district resulting from new development stimulated by the expansion and extension of public infrastructure, water, sewer, roads, within that district. The underlying taxing districts continue to receive the same amount of property tax income that they were receiving prior to the creation of each urban renewal district. And once an urban renewal district is closed, all of the additional taxes created by new development and the public improvements made by the Urban Renewal Commission within the district go back to the underlying taxing entities who continue to benefit from an expanding tax base each succeeding year. This benefit is evident in the closed Expo, Center Point, and East Post Falls districts, where it's additional new development after closing that district based on urban renewal funded public improvement continues at a fairly significant pace. Our expenses for 2026 will continue to be primarily reimbursement of physical costs associated with approved, completed, and dedicated public improvements and expanded public infrastructure. Proponent reimbursement for approved and completed public improvements is projected at full cost of $5.418 million as our three existing districts continue to develop. Projected reimbursements assume that all improvements set forth in the approved district plans for fiscal 2026 will be completed within that fiscal year. If the improvements are not completed or approved and dedicated within that fiscal year, they will be reflected in future budgets. If tax increment generated over the life of an urban renewal district is not sufficient to fully reimburse a proponent for the public improvements that they've made and paid for, the proponent's opportunity for such reimbursement will be lost at the closing of the district. As noted, the Post Falls Urban Renewal Commission has no debt and no plan to incur debt this year. The operating expenses for the Urban Renewal Commission are projected to be $181,324 in fiscal year 2026. This is a budget increase of 17.7% and is comprised of a 4.7% increase in the general annual operating expenses of the Commission, together with a 13% increase associated with a one-time expense of performing an economic impact study of the East Post Falls and Center Point districts, last studied in 2016. This study will enable the Commission to verify the impact of urban renewal and its continuing impact on tax revenues within those two closed districts Also review job creation and expansion and economic diversification. Our fiscal year 2025 operating expenses, which are actually expenses associated with the operation of the agency, do not include carryover funds or contingencies, and were budgeted at $153,986. Our actual expenses for the first 10 months of fiscal year 2025 were $104,964, or approximately $10,496 per month. Annualized through the close of this fiscal year, we are projecting operating expenses will be $125,956, which is a carryover and below budget of $28,029 for this fiscal year operations. The budget continues to contain a $5,000 contingency. Projected increases in line items for the new budget include our audit expenses. Every business and governmental agency is now experiencing a fairly dramatic increase in audit cost as due to expanded regulations. We have a 5% wage increase built into those expense projections. We are anticipating an increase in our insurance cost, our engineering and contract services, our telephone and internet services, and some costs to update our computer software. These increases reflect actual increased costs as a result of inflation or expenses required to support the agency's upcoming fiscal year goals. A reduction of costs is expected in the following line items: marketing and education, and website-related maintenance expenses. Total expenses for fiscal year 2026, including payments for public improvements and a contingency, are forecast at $5.599 million. Of that total, $5,418,000, or 97% of our expenses, are allocated to completing approved dedicated public infrastructure within our urban renewal districts. The remaining 3% of the forecast expenses represents the cost of actually operating the agency and administering our urban renewal districts. Any questions?
Well, I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
You always do an amazing job with our finances, but I have to say, I really appreciate you having the extra education and taking the time to explain and break down what TIF is, how it works, and the benefit to the community and how the budget is broken down. So
Thank
I
you.
think for the giant crowd that's here, they really appreciate the work that you do, so
I
thank you
started
very
doing
much.
this before my hair turned white.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments?
No, thank you, Lynn.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, that public hearing is an action item, so we would be looking for a motion to approve.
Madam Chairperson,
Yeah.
you could actually move right to the resolution because that
Oh.
adopts the budget.
Oh, very good, okay.
Yes.
Well, we will do that then. So we'll move on to unfinished business, Resolution 2025-07, approving fiscal year 2026 annual budget.
Move to approve.
My second.
All right, we'll do a roll call vote.
Right. Jeltnes,
Aye.
Coles,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Crosby,
Aye.
Fleshman.
Aye.
All right, excellent. Next up is new business, approval of semi-annual proponent reimbursements.
Right. All right, per agency policy number 7, tax increment received by the agency for each of the urban renewal districts is dispersed in February and August each year for public improvements that have been planned, completed, and paid for by the proponent and dedicated to the city. August reimbursements, or the August reimbursement will be distributed as follows. In the downtown district, A&A Construction is the proponent developer, the participant, and reimbursement amount of $319,419, $319,418.58. And our remaining obligation is $4,207,000 $1,611.59. That is our only reimbursement for this period of time. In the Downtown District Minor Projects Program Fund, this program was approved at our November 2024 Commission meeting. There is a fund balance of $135,751.24 for future reimbursement of approved minor projects in the Downtown District. We currently have a reimbursement request for the Post Falls Eagles project in process. In the Post Falls Technology District, there is a current fund balance of $2,938,903.60 for future reimbursement of public infrastructure improvements. A reimbursement request has been submitted by the proponent in this district and is currently in process. And in our Pleasant View District, there's a current fund balance of $0. We have a district fund deficit of $63,264.90, pending remittance of sufficient future tax increment. According to agency policy number 15, administrative fees shall be treated as a cost that is eligible to be reimbursed from tax increment funds received in the future. A motion would be in order to approve the semi-annual annual proponent reimbursement and authorize the transfer of $319,418.58 to the First Interstate Bank checking account.
All right, excellent, thank you. Looking for a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote?
Fleshman,
Aye.
Jeltness,
Aye.
Crosby,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Coles.
Aye.
All right, next up, we have staff report and updates.
All right, I do have a few items for the staff report. On August 15th, the county auditor distributed previously withheld penalty and interest portions of the monthly tax increment remittances. The agency received penalty and interest for the period of October 2022 through May 2025, totaling $3,438.99 in the Post Falls Technology District and $11,463.44 in the Downtown District. These previously withheld funds for the TAC and Downtown districts are included in the latest reimbursement activity and district fund balance reporting. Additionally, the auditor's office identified $13,411 of withheld penalty and interest funds associated with the closed East Post Falls, Centerpoint, and Expo districts. The funding attributed to these closed districts has been distributed by the Kootenai County Auditor to the underlying taxing districts. The agency's consulting engineers at Welch Comer are now proceeding with the review of the second request for reimbursement for the construction costs of public improvements associated with the Millworks and North Mill 1 project. Welch Comer's Task Order 25-01 was previously approved by the Commission in February of 2025. And lastly, the agency has initiated an inquiry with the Metz Group for the purpose of updating the 2016 Economic Impact Study in the closed Centerpoint and East Post Falls districts. The updated study is intended to document the economic development that has occurred from 2016 through the closing of the districts, together with their continued economic impact to the city of Post Falls and surrounding community. That concludes my staff report.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Director?
I would simply point out that, the county treasurer withheld funds, delinquent tax payments and interest on those payments for 3 years. And at the end of some litigation, he made those available to the various agencies. We chose, in conjunction with council and the county auditor, since we had three closed districts that had $13,400 returned to them, to give those back to the various underlying taxing entities. So we did not take that money. We basically gave it
Passed
back
it
to
on.
the county, the city, the library district, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, I think that needs to be pointed out, because I'm not sure that there are going to be many other people whose monies was withheld who will give it back to the underlying taxing entities.
It's a great distinction. Thanks for adding that.
Good for us.
Good for us, yeah. Great. Next up, we have commissioner comments. Right, then I guess we will go ahead. I have no comments as chairman, so we will go ahead and adjourn the meeting.